Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be going over how to get a more efficient stride. It's something I've been working a lot on recently, and as I made a video here, and I'll link it up above, I went from running 18 miles an hour to 21 miles an hour recently, and I wanted to go over some of the things that helped me get there. One of the things was really helping out my stride overall efficiency, so we're going to go ahead and go do a video, a side-by-side, or a side video and a back video of my sprinting to show you some of the efficiency that it has, and we'll go and hop into that video right now. If you like the information, as always, like the video and share the video if you can. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you have any recommendations, go ahead and leave those down below. All right, so I don't want to really make this video way too long overall. I want to make it pretty short and concise here, but some of the big things that I see in terms of a loss of efficiency from the back point of view is really losing or not having your legs go through in a straight manner, right? So as you're pushing off, ending up to like bring the foot out to the side, or maybe pushing off and making it so your foot ends up going too far inside, right? Like turns this way or turns that way too much. And a lot of times when that happens, then you'll see that same foot when it lands end up being not very stable. So notice when my foot's landing, being able to land and have a lot of control during that landing phase, right? So it's not collapsing in. I'm also not standing way too far on the outside part of the foot, just being able to be very, very efficient within your landing and your feet. I think that's one of the biggest things that you got to be able to do and work on in order to really maximize your overall sprinting. I noticed here, and this is kind of a cool thing, where like the lat activation, you could even watch how your lat ends up transmitting force and how important your arms are when it comes to being able to transmit force. You can see how that like whole muscle moves through and then it's going through extension. And what's interesting too is this muscle is going into, or arms going into flexion, and that muscle is usually active during extension. So it's always interesting to see something like that, something that kind of surprises you a little bit there. You can almost see how your force ends up getting transmitted from your right shoulder into your pec as you're pushing off. And then also looking at the side view, another thing that I think is important when it comes to maximizing efficiency is really being able to push off and maintain yourself where you're not going too much up and down, right? And so notice here, as I'm going, being able to get a good amount of verticality in the push off, right? So pushing all the way up, but then, spending that time off the ground. So right here is all time off the ground, but I'm not losing any height, right? And so when you're pushing off and you're able to get a longer stride and still maintain good height position, a lot of that comes from being able to stay really vertical when you're pushing off. So being able to work on plyometrics and things like that makes it so you can maintain good verticality, and then when you're pulling your legs underneath you, you can maintain a little bit more of an upright posture. I could still work on being more upright when landing, but I've definitely made an improvement from where I was at before to where I am now, and being able to land, keep everything very upright, and then be able to push off really quickly there and generate still a good amount of force. And a lot of that has to do with, again, plyometrics, and then also building up the strength within the ankle joint in order to really maximize your landing phase. And so I'd say that's a big thing for you guys that you want to be able to do, is make sure you're very, very strong within the ankles. And that makes it so then your landing phase ends up being very, very controlled. And then that's where you can end up generating a lot of force. I've said this a couple times in my videos, where you, in the first 0.02 seconds of when you land, is when you end up generating all your force. So you really have to be generating a lot of it when your foot's out in front of you, you're able to drive that foot back down, is really when you end up generating most of your force, because once your foot touches, you have 0.200ths of a second to be able to generate all your force to then be able to push right back off. So being able to really maximize that is super important for you to really improve your overall running form and running technique. So yeah, guys, I just want to make this video as always, just to help you out in better understanding your sprinting. I can say, I'm faster now than I've ever been by really diving deep into the speed mechanics here. And, with doing any of my breakdowns, joining into the programs, I think it's a great commitment for you to do, just because I'm just as committed to this whole thing. I'm doing different types of workouts, different types of sprinting every single day. I'm super committed to being able to get it so I can maintain a 22 to 23 mile an hour sprint over 40 or 50 steps, which would get me into that 10-second 100-meter dash time. So that's my overall goal. So, if you're trying to get into that same type of thing, being surrounded with people that are also chasing after that, I think will only help you out, only make it so you're going to get better. If you're interested at all in doing a program, you can go ahead and check out the description below. We have a lot of different links for how you can go and sign up, or you could just send me a personal email. Would be happy to get back to you and help you out with that. All right. As always, thanks for watching these videos, and we'll talk to you soon.